they still
I don't know
investigating?
if I want to even bring what you were saying.
We're live right now, guys, just so you know.
We're live.
I don't know if anybody's going to pop on. It's pretty late here, but
It's late. Left in there? Or are they gone? Time is it?
got somebody in. Hey, Daniel. Daniel's jumped in here. Got a couple people jumping in. Maria, Ivan. Hey, Maria. How's it going? There's Dina. Hey, Dina. Debbie's jumping in. Just going to wait for a few people to jump in. Guys, do us a favor. It's late here. Lupita.
Lupita.
Hi. Guys, do us a favor. Please share this to your timeline right now. Just let everybody know we're on because we want to talk what's going on here. Hey, Dream Team. Hey, Lupita. Thank you. Got Madeline, Daniel. Hey, buddy. Jen. Hey. How are you? Daniel Greer. I'll tell you what's up, man. It's crazy. We're going to get into it here in a second. I just want to make sure we get a few people in before we start because I know we're going to have to repeat ourselves a few times. Hey, Madeline, good to see you. Get a few more people in. We'll get started here. Guys, it's just a crazy night, and we wanted to tell you about what's going on before it gets too past. Because sometimes when you go through an event, you know, things change, your memory changes at the event. We want to make sure that we're able to kind of recount things as they happen and make sure it's accurately preserved, kind of a time capsule, this whole situation that took place. Because I've never seen anything quite like this, and I've done quite a bit. Hey, Sherry. Okay, we got a bunch of people in here now. Okay, so Amy, hey, how's it going? Thank you. You guys are, first off, you're freaking awesome for jumping on this late at night and hanging out with us. I mean, I know sometimes people put these announcements up and they have 2 and 3 people, and you guys are just great. So, anyway, hey, how do you pronounce that name, D?
Joao Pedro Lopez de Sena Lima.
Wow, hey there. Just glad you make it. That's a long name. Chris Hughes.
Just call him Pedro.
Pedro, hey. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to start. It's not just me and D here, obviously. We got a bunch of people. We are sitting in the lovely lobby of the Super 8 Hotel here in Ida Grove, Iowa. And we had things happen tonight that I've never seen before in all of my many years of psychic and paranormal investigations. So, everybody who's going to be sitting around the table here, we're going to kind of pass the phone around and kind of tell everybody what we saw here because
we are worn out, Don.
We're dead.
We're worn out. Yeah.
I just got a shower a little while ago. Dee just got a shower a little while ago. Everybody else is kind of sitting here drained. And to tell you, I love you back, Julie. Thanks, hon. Tell you, I'm going to have everybody, as we just go around really quickly, introduce themselves, and I'll start talking about what's going on. We got D. Everybody knows D. Hey, guys.
You guys know me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll talk after everyone else does. Debbie. Y'all know Alan.
Keena and Jim.
That's Jim.
I'm from Hauntology Productions. We're all sort of worn out. See, that's why we've been sweating all night. That's why we didn't get our showers yet. So. We're so going over a recap of tonight's tense moments.
Yeah.
We went through. So I think Chris is going to dig into that in a moment.
Yeah, we're going to kind of get into all this stuff, guys. So, hey. Hey, Madeline. Yeah, guys, so we did an event today and tonight at, it was our VIP portion of the event in Ida Grove. We were at the train depot. It literally felt like it was about 110 degrees in there with the heat index. I was just melting. It was crazy. So
it was bad.
It was
oh
bad,
my God,
guys.
it was bad. You were melting.
Yeah.
You were dripping everywhere.
I mean, it was bad.
You looked like a melting popsicle.
I did look like a melting popsicle.
He looked like a melting popsicle, guys. It was bad.
It was terrible, guys. But anyway.
I was okay because it's the South Texas heat, so.
Yeah, you were kind of dealing with it. I was not.
It was a breeze for her.
She didn't break a sweat at all.
Yeah.
You didn't break a sweat
I
at
didn't
all.
break a sweat. I was fine. I was
just
refreshed.
pouring off the stairs.
Everyone else was
Camera
dying, and I
was
was like,
coming
guys,
down.
this is perfect. This is beach weather. What's wrong with you
Survival
guys?
weather. You know, I was saying, look,
It's
we'll
fine.
warm up.
Yeah.
It was
It
terrible.
was an
It was really
intense
bad. Yeah.
evening.
It was.
The heat was just a whole nother story.
That was a whole other story.
Yeah, a whole other issue to deal with tonight with this investigation.
Absolutely.
Just another layer.
Definitely.
another layer.
Just
that
another
was-
layer to
that
it.
was there
Just
that
another layer.
was the catalyst, I think, to what was to come.
I totally agree. So, yeah, so we went through that. We went to dinner tonight, had a good time at dinner and everything, hoping for the best, honestly. And hoping for the best was not the way things went. So we took the group of individuals in, all the participants. We had, what do you say, guys? We probably had about 15 people, maybe?
Yeah,
Total.
about 15 people
About 15 VIPs tonight.
Come back.
Yeah, we're afraid.
It was cozy. I mean, it was a full house for the size of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good,
I don't
you
do
know.
one anymore.
Yeah,
But-
Jenny's in there. She knows. She's telling everybody it was like a natural sauna. It really was.
But the thing, the things that happen and the amount of times that they happen,
Yeah.
and it was just one after the other.
So I was just about to get into that. So we got back from dinner, and hey Margaret, good to see you. Hey Debbie, we got in there. We were outside the train depot, and the first thing I'll tell you is that one of our participants brought their dog with her, and I know her dog, and the dog was not at all comfortable. The dog was jumping, running, trying to get away from whatever was there, an unseen force. It was not normal, to the point that I've started worrying about the dog. Hey Arlene, and basically we got everybody outside. It had cooled down a little bit, and we told everybody, hey, first thing before you go into this place, it's not a joke. If you've seen the episode, you know that this place is intense, and don't treat it as a joke. If you need to be grounded, if you need to be cleared, if you need anything, we'll do that for you before we go in. And unfortunately, we didn't have anybody who took us up on the whole situation.
I did a grounding with
Me
Alan.
and Dee
With
both did
Alan.
one together.
And I saw a prayer with a couple of people did prayers.
Yeah.
But
But Alan and I just
You know, and the remarkable thing about that was when we did that grounding, if you recall, we were freezing cold
we were.
after we got done. I mean, our bodies were just
I did
frozen
a
cold.
grounding with
And
you.
as hot as it was,
I felt like we had to. And stuff.
I had goosebumps, chills. I mean, it was just cold.
Interesting, yeah.
And I can't explain
And
it.
in
That was
hindsight,
weird.
honestly, I'm glad we did that because I mean things got bad.
Yeah.
Can you imagine had we not done that?
No, I can't. I mean, how do you imagine anything
right.
any worse than what that was?
So, needless to say, we went into the place. We tried to be, as respectful as we possibly could be, as always. And I think the way that it went is we got into the front room and we started doing the investigation there, right? And I think that the first thing that happened, wasn't it your EM meter, Alan, went off?
Oh yeah, right next to
The
me.
yeah.
We're standing right next to it.
It started picking up on the end. And that was at the same time that Chris asked somebody that was nearby that had a camera to please take a picture of his hand. He felt as if something was touching his hand. In the position you were looking, there was no way you could see that eddy. You were in front of it. So those two things coincided with each other. You were getting interruptions on the eddy, which is an EM flux, and then you were feeling something touching your hand.
Yeah.
So
So just to clarify, where was this at?
that would be in,
Would this be the walkthrough that you started off with doing a walkthrough with the
Yes.
group, giving everybody sort of an overview
That's
of
when
the
we
of the
first
property,
walked
the
in.
house,
right?
and that's what I thought because I was getting ready with cameras and stuff, so I didn't participate. It's late. I didn't participate in the initial walkthrough because I'd been through earlier with you and stuff.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen the beginning because I was getting ready, and I wondered right off the get-go, it just started like I could hear it in the other room. Stuff's going on, and people are starting to like come back out. Well, we just went in, so I didn't know what was going on. So this is right in like the very second room or the kitchen room area.
This is actually before the kitchen.
Oh, before.
This is in
Okay.
the opening.
Yeah, this is the mudroom. This would be called the drover
Okay.
shop.
Yeah,
This is where we had all our equipment.
where the
sitting.
hatchet marks are in the floor.
Yeah, the hatchet marks were there, right. That's where it initially started, and it was basically the doorway in between the kitchen area, or the dining room area, and the mudroom. It was right there on that line.
Note to viewers and followers, if you come into an investigation and there's hatchet marks on the floor, that's a red flag.
Yeah, red flag right there. Absolutely.
That's not normal.
No, that is
That's
definitely
not normal. So note to self,
Right.
no hatchet marks on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we we got in there. It started going off. I felt something cold by my arm. It was pretty intense. And then we ended up just taking 2 steps into.
We went into the
kitchen.
The kitchen, where the dining room is.
Yeah.
Chris and I walked ahead while the group was still. Well, you were still talking to them in that first room. So we walked into that dining area and we looked towards the other room. The lights were off in that other room.
Right.
We looked towards that other room and we both saw
A shadow.
a shadow. We both saw the shadow.
It was somebody about. We were just talking about this. Probably about 5'5", 5'6". Looked like. I wondered if one of the attendees had maybe slipped into the room. Honestly, is what I thought at first. And
Because
then,
it was that defined.
Yeah.
And at that moment he says, Dee, look, and we were both looking at it, and then you started to say to it, hi, can you come closer? Can you?
I was trying to have a conversation,
Yeah,
and it hunched down, and then
And at that,
I don't want to make it like a movie, but it was like flash, 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 and it looked like it moved at us almost in a time sequence.
It did.
And then it was and as it happened, it was like it took your breath away. It was like
It did.
like it was
And
coming
then
at you, and there's nothing you could do.
I felt something. I was standing right next to Chris, and then I felt something, and I said to him, Chris, my arm. And since it hasn't gone away, you can show them.
Oh yeah, guys, here, hold on, let's see if we can. Try to here, direct it with the. There it
Can
is.
they see it?
Yeah, you move it that way.
There it is. All right, guys, there it is, right there. So, D got it again.
Everybody got it. I mean,
D got it again.
There was a soul in there that didn't get it.
And after this, when I told Chris, when I said, Chris, my arm, we walked outside. And just to look at it, to see what it was. And, well, we saw the scratches. At that moment, we wanted to make sure that we, got pictures of it and all that. And we went back in, tried it again.
Right. Yeah, we said we're going back in.
We're going back in.
And when we had Jim come out, and I filmed it with the phone. Jim got it with real equipment. We were able to
We
document
documented it, and yeah, we tried to go back in there after. I don't really remember what happened after that.
We went back in, and I think that's when everybody else
Oh
started
yeah,
to.
after that, it's like this was the first one, and then after that, boom.
Then your mother's.
Oh,
It came
Yeah.
down from upstairs.
Well, the next thing I had one. I had a small one that got me. We didn't even really
You did,
document. I just
no.
said, "Look, it's here."
He did have
It was
one.
on my.
It was actually before mine.
Yeah, it actually happened before D's.
It had been before the arm. You had one on your neck.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's still there.
Not sure.
No, it's not.
So that got her. We went back in. We tried to deal with some things that were happening. D got attacked again. Started feeling strange. Trying to remember.
See,
all
it
the
was
things.
your mom.
Well,
got
my
it.
mom got it later because Alan had his issue outside when he had to
that was
leave.
horrible. And quite honestly, I don't remember a lot of that.
Yeah, and the only thing I can say is when he was out there, he got outside as fast as he possibly could. And when I don't know why, you were off on your own.
Yeah.
And something told me I had to go see you. And when I got out there, I told you this, it was like I saw a wolf just pacing back and forth and back and forth. And it was frightening to me, honestly. And I kind of walked up like a person would with an animal, and I was like, calm down, hey, it's me, calm down. And slowly we kind of brought him back in. Paul, Xander, myself kind of got around him and kind of brought him back down, got him go back to his feet. But it was frightening. It was really a scary experience.
It was.
And then more of our attendees started getting scratched and burned. I think almost everybody had some sort of scratch or
Everybody.
burn.
How many people had? Oh, Dan.
Dan did, yeah.
Dan?
And that's a remarkable thing, and
Yeah.
I told you about this earlier today, and I hate to use this language, but I've always said that Dan wouldn't say shit if he had a mouthful.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
And here he is, he's getting just brutalized. And that
He
never
got scratched
happens.
twice.
Yeah, that never happens.
He got scratched on his arm and on the neck, same as me.
And then he came back in, and he actually came back inside, and he told me
You
the whole
documented
story
that,
and
right?
documented it on camera. So we got that, and we got the scratch, what was left of it. It started to dissipate shortly after that. It wasn't as sort of intense or as the same as
got it on the
yours.
back of the neck as well.
Your mother's was pretty intense. too.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's scary.
We were upstairs,
That's
and I
scary.
heard
And I
somebody
said, who was
shouting
calling for
you.
me? Yeah, and I went, uh-oh.
And
Well, here was
I thought it was you guys, and you guys weren't even there.
I don't know if you
So-
guys what caught. I'll turn real quick. What happened with her? We were upstairs in the final room. Well, I call the final room upstairs. It was the judge's room where he died.
Yep.
And we were up there, and all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys saw me being all weirded out. Sometimes things just take over. over, and I saw she was going through something, and my arm started going over the top of
saw
her, and
that.
I was like redirecting
Yeah.
energy like I do with the box, and I could feel she was tilting to the side, and I put my hand on her, and she immediately said, "Gotta go," and that's when we got her down the stairs. Got
And
into that
that's
front
when she-
room, and then that's when we called you,
Yeah.
brought it down, and she had a burn, like almost like a branding
I hung
on the back of her
because
neck.
I was catching all of this. I was documenting all of it, and then I let everybody go and put it in front of me. And as we were trying to come back down, and I didn't realize at the same time that this was all taking place at the head of the group. Because I was at the back trying to film all of this, and so
And then-
we did catch it though.
And that's when we said, Jam,
Yeah.
Jam, come down quick. And
Yeah, and I came down, and actually, by that time, she was all sort of like hunched over.
yeah, and it was burning her. She kept saying, Chris,
Yeah.
it hurts,
Oh,
it's
you could
burning.
tell she was in pain.
She was
Just
in a
by
lot
her-
of pain.
Her
You know, I
demeanor
hit
and
the
what
bottom
she
of
had
the
said.
steps, and I think I just said, Christ. You know, I just knew what happened.
Yeah.
It horrified me because I have never known your mother to be injured like that.
No.
Ever.
No,
She
either
never
have I.
has.
She's had, as you guys know, who know Mama Moon, she's had energy drains before where she's passed out, she falls over things, but she was being physically burned and attacked, and it was just frightening, terrible to see this happening to her. As a matter of fact, she's sleeping right now because she couldn't deal with this tonight, so she's getting some sleep. So it was bad. After that happened, Dee had a really bad attachment attack happen. I had to get her outside, get her calm. Ellen had to jump in and
Sage.
assist with some sage. We got them off site, and then we forgot a lot of our stuff back at the location. So you called Alan. We drove back as fast as
Well,
we
you
could.
forgot before that, when you were doing the ghost box session.
Oh, the ghost box session.
When
yeah.
he was doing the ghost box session inside, I didn't say
Weirdest
anything
thing.
to you because I did not want to interrupt it. But I turned to Xander's dad and I whispered to him and I said, check my neck, please check my neck. Do I
Right.
have something on my neck? And he looks and then immediately he places his hand and he tried to pull that energy off. And I think it's still there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you still see it?
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, he can. Oh, he has to pull
Yeah, it is.
right there, guys. You can see.
It's very clear.
So Dee got it in the arm and in the neck again, like the last time.
Yeah, we documented that too. At that moment, I came around, and that's why if someone said they stepped in front of the camera after you shut the box off, and I said, "Oh, could you please step back?" She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were still rolling." It's like, no, I always leave it rolling, and I literally said, it's on camera. I says, I always leave it rolling because this is when the good stuff usually,
And-
the quote good stuff.
Good
If there's a
call.
way you can
And
call
that
it
was
that,
like two-year
happens.
session.
You were right
Yeah.
behind me when
Yeah.
that.
And I came around and got that, and you were there talking with Xander's
Xander's
dad.
dad.
Yeah, I can't
And
think of his
that's
name.
the thing.
Paul.
The weirdest thing is that I was listening to you do the session. I was listening to you. We were, trying to see
Which, by the way, was a bizarre session,
it was a
guys.
bizarre, weird, weird
Go- you
things.
guys describe it,
Yeah,
'cause I was
I've
so
never
locked
heard
into it.
things come like that come out of the box. It was just
The
weird.
answers were coming through in music.
Yeah.
Every answer that came through was in the dialogue of music, words. It
Right.
was like songs
Yeah.
that described exactly.
And
Yeah, it was-
that
it was
dark
bizarre.
energy was
that was
blocking.
so strange.
It was blocking
Because
the.
technically it can't do that. It's like a scanning radio.
Exactly.
It doesn't stop. It keeps on going no matter
Right.
what. Here it stopped and it actually played
Parts of the
through
song.
parts of it. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
several lines there.
But
Yeah.
those lines
Never
related to,
To the
Heard that
an
before.
The
answer
question.
To the question.
To the question, yeah. It was relevant. That's the
That's the
We-
weird
exactly.
part.
We
Yeah.
We had I can't say the name of the song, but like an animal by 9 Inch Nails. For those who know what that song is, and there was a real specific part that
Part
came
of the
out in that
song.
about you get me closer to God,
And then it said no in the part about the soul, about
I've got no soul to sell.
I have
And
no
that
soul
said
to
that
sell.
part.
And that related to the question that he asked. Well, it was actually at that. Yeah, it was right. before
Everything
that song.
related to the questions being asked. And then the thing at the very end, again, it went to another song, which was the most bizarre thing, but it wasn't a song. It was some sort of.
It was a
it sounded
religious,
it
like,
sounded
sermon or
it was like a
something.
religious sermon, some sort of.
It started going
was like
into
scripture.
gospel
Yes.
type
It was
scripture.
like scripture is what it was.
It started going into a religious sermon, and
Hymns.
we
It was
heard.
type of hymns and scripture, like you said,
was like
scripture and
church.
quotes and stuff.
It was like a church
It was,
sermon.
talking,
Yeah.
it was talking about how Paul walked to the light, and that, it was.
Yeah,
crazy.
and it was a long
Yeah.
moment. It was an entire a huge part of a sermon came out through there, and he was talking about Paul
Yeah.
walked to the light, and
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
walk towards the light, and it was like it was
But
very.
it was deliberate. I mean, I try to be logical about it. I say, okay, was the box malfunctioning? Was it dying? Was there something happening at that point? Did the battery drain? What, you know, I look for those logical things, but the music and the fragments that came out at that moment were in direct correlation with what we were asking. And that was the most bizarre thing that happened in it. So when that all ended, it ended with that strange religious sermon aspect of things. I then realized you had the scratching.
Yeah.
Had the situation where you refused to go outside.
I didn't
where,
want to.
Where
It was weird.
she was panicked. There's people out there. There's people out there, and I had to try to convince her you're being tricked. It wants to keep you inside. To
And
do what
that
it's
got
gonna do."
angry.
And then it got angry, and we had a very violent confrontation outside. Out on the side, and that's when we had to call Alan in to come do the clearing.
I think I started pushing against you.
Yeah, you started getting like violent against me.
Yeah.
And I had to call out whatever it was. I'm not going to get into that, but I had to call it out at that point and that get it cleared from that moment forward. So guys, it was intense. So then again, going back, we finally got
And
out
I couldn't
of there.
breathe.
Yeah, she was having trouble breathing, and then so we got back here. My mom couldn't take anymore. Got her back. Got them back to their room, and then realized you had some things you needed to get. Yeah, some protection stuff. And then called Alan. We raced back up. There was like a horror movie. We raced back up there into the night.
It was like a horror movie.
And he's waiting outside. Got inside. Got all of her stuff. Got
Only
back.
we put the GoPro in the car.
Right. That's what we needed. Honestly.
See, honestly, yeah, because the conversation we had was very, very intense.
But here's the good news: we've got the majority of all of this was captured on the cameras.
I wish we would have had you with us in the cars. We were going back to film because the conversation we had there was.
Yeah, we started getting really deep into what we thought was going on and how we were going to deal
Turn it down. Yeah,
in the
probably a good
future
idea.
with the Stagecoach Inn. And, you know, we all kind of come to the conclusion that we've really got to think about what we're going to do. And it was at that moment that Chris said,
We gotta go.
we got to go.
Something happened.
We gotta
something
go now.
something hit me so quick, and it said, we have to get out of here, we got to go. And I asked Alan, I said, do you want to ride back to your truck? And at first he said no, and it's
And
like
we
something
said
clicked
no.
in his brain, and he went, no, yeah, I do want to ride. And then we drove him back to the Stagecoach, which again was like a horror movie, no joke, it really was. Back up to the Stagecoach. Daniel was sitting there, Rocky was sitting there on the tailgate, and then we dropped you off and took off, and you can tell them what happened next.
After, this is so weird. Understand that Rocky is a certified mechanic, and he said there was no way what I would describe could happen. So, as you know, Chris says we got to go. The guys were sitting on the tailgate of Rocky's truck, and they seen us getting into Chris's vehicle. At that same moment, all the dash lights lit up in Dan's car. They just come on, and there was no reason for that. The car hadn't been on; it's been sitting there. The doors were shut. They just came on, and it came on, which is odd. The exact same moment when you said we got to go. It was like this energy that you picked up on, and it just exploded.
Right.
And it affected Dan's car.
And that's
Rocky
you said it's
said, there's no
impossible.
way that can happen. There's just no way. I mean, they were sitting on the tailgate, and they just come on.
Right. It's
How does that? How do you explain that?
it's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah, they can't happen.
So, needless to say, it's been
And the thing is, after I had to get out of there, and Chris knew we had to get out. We couldn't stay, and we're like, we're gonna leave. We had at first said, okay, everyone else can stay here. You know, I had a feeling, I knew it was gonna have to just be shut off because I knew Alan had been through a lot as well.
Right.
It'd been a rough day.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna say no, Alan, you stay with. But Chris and I understood. We said, okay, we have to get out of here, and if we have to shut it down, it's gonna have to get shut down. And we did the smart thing, I think, and you made the smart decision, Alan, because I think tonight was just too intense. We couldn't keep it going, and I think that I back you on what you did.
Well, what she's referring to is, most of you know, I offered an investigation after the investigation with Wanaji, and they were kind enough. They paid me the money to give to the Stagecoach Inn for donations for paint and all the things that I'm all about. And after all this happened, I just said no. I'm going to give your money back. I'm not going to take a chance on anything else happening that I can't control. You know,
'Cause we were leading,
we had the
we were-
advantage in some respects because we all worked together through this. And I was alone, and there was no way in hell that I was going to be at the Stagecoach Inn with people I didn't even know, and have godly knows what happens, you know. And so I just shut it down. Here's your money back, you know. And I don't do that.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
best to err on the side
that's-
of caution.
It is,
And
it
this
is.
tonight was like a definite, yes, you need to err
What
on
are
the
your
side
thoughts
of
on
caution.
everything that you saw happen and everything that,
As a videographer or as a
initial.
paranormal
just
investigator?
everything, both,
Both sides of the fence.
both sides.
You know, the weird thing is we've done over. I mean, we stopped counting like the rest of everybody else. You stop when you get to like 100 investigations around, you stop counting. We've done a lot of them, and we've been around people getting scratched before. I know Debbie's been scratched. I have not, but I've been around quite a bit of people, and there's never any rhyme or reason to it really as why one person here gets scratched, person next to them doesn't, and so. I mean, there's some theories. We talked about that earlier tonight about, the whole rivalry thing, with the Indians and different tribes and things like that. And that's one theory that's been put forth. But I have never seen people walk in within a few minutes and then someone gets scratched. And then someone gets something like a burn, like a brand was put on them. And then as we're dealing with that, another person gets scratched as soon as we go back in. So it seemed like every time something would happen, we'd go outside. And then we would regroup. And when we regroup and go back at it again, something again would happen. And so it just kept going. It's almost like it was whatever's there is an entity that's just trying to pick people off one by one, here, one there, one here, one there. And slowly but surely, we were being divided and kind of sent back outside. And so it was very intense. And I got to agree with your call on this. And for you guys, you got to go because at that point, you can't. People are getting hurt. I mean, you're getting injured.
Yeah.
So you've got to really take a good hard look at this. That's my, common sense approach as a paranormal investigator.
Right.
As a videographer and want to produce a TV show, it's fantastic for the camera.
Right.
But
At our expense.
yeah, that's the thing is you're taking it. Hey, this stuff is great. This is fantastic.
Great, Dee, this is great.
The walls are bleeding.
Yeah, the walls
Dee,
are
come here,
bleeding.
let me see those scratches.
And Chris's mom is writhing in pain, and I'm trying to think of a great camera angle I can do from up above, without hitting Chris in the head at the same time. And so, from a videography standpoint,
It was awesome.
it was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is what the stuff that paranormal shows are made of. So. Yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance of what do you do in a situation like that, and that's a tough call. I think we're going to have to sit down now, tomorrow, before we head back there again, and really rehash this and rethink about your approach for tomorrow.
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
group
I
and the
agree.
game plan for
100%.
tomorrow.
I agree.
Another odd thing too is I've never seen quite a few people spoke out about. You don't have to go back in, nobody, you don't be, there's no heroes here. It's not a question of who's brave and who's not. There's no shame in saying I want to opt out, that sort of thing. And I noticed that quite a few people did decide to opt out. So
Yeah.
I think the claims of the Stagecoach Inn were proven tonight for sure.
Oh, definitely.
There were 15 or 16 believers walking out of there.
Oh yeah, I mean, and
So-
I mean, after everybody watched the episode.
There were no skeptics
No,
leaving that
yeah.
place.
And everybody
Tonight.
watched the episode that we did, and
Yeah.
episode 5. And I mean, that was like we talked about it, Chris. That was a huge warning.
Right.
So,
Well, the same sort
You
of,
know.
and the other thing too, to direct back to the scratch that you got, when I was documenting the scratches that you had back on the back side of your shoulder after the ghost box session, I said, these are the exact same scratches in the same spot. I mean, literally just in the exact same spot that happened the last time
Yeah.
you guys were here. And I wasn't, but I went through the footage for weeks, basically. And here it is again. And so I'm thinking, what are the odds of that? How does that work?
this thing is it's something powerful that wants.
Not only does
the
it
feeling
target
I got,
you,
yeah,
but it's targeting you in the same exact way and fashion and spot
yeah,
as it did months ago whenever you guys shot the last time.
And I mean, what a show of power. At that
Exactly,
point to say
yeah.
that. I mean, that's just
we
what a
had
show
that
of power.
that conversation. It's a show he wants to show. Yeah, like,
So let me just, with that, because we're running out of battery here, I just want to say really quickly, and we could go on literally all night, guys.
yes, we're going back tomorrow, Janet.
Yeah, we're going back in. So here's the thing.
Herein lies the question.
If you really want to come, we still have a couple of tickets left. We really don't. We don't have a bunch of tickets, and I don't want to go crazy with all this stuff. Thanks, Clancy, for sending love and light. We appreciate it. Honestly, this sounds weird. I'm going to encourage people not to come tomorrow, and I know that sounds insane, but as an event situation,
Who does that at their events?
you're right.
well, but how? But after tonight, oh my god.
After tonight, guys, I don't think it's a good idea, because here's the thing. People had experiences tonight. They're not coming back tomorrow. Okay? It was so intense, so real, so
We're
incredible.
gonna go because we got things to.
We have
got
actual work to do.
We have work to do.
We have
so-
actual spiritual warfare that we're going to be doing
Yeah,
tomorrow.
we've got our game plan. We've got, we're gonna go back. We've got work to do. And I feel like, Alan, we're in this with you. And
I am going to be completely spent, both physically and spiritually, after this
Yeah.
is over. I've been here since when? 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Yeah,
I mean,
we all rolled in.
Chris
Yeah.
and I already
4 or
said
5.
this is something.
I was on the premises all night. My plan was to stay inside. It was just too hot, and there was things going on in there that I couldn't deal with. So I slept outside on a cot,
Yeah.
and I didn't have any relief from it all
Yeah.
night, all day. And by the time the investigation rolled around the night, I was
But it's
pretty
spiritual
much
warfare is what it is.
spiritually beat up.
It really is. It truly is spiritual warfare. That's what we're looking at.
And that's
right now.
our work.
That's what we do, and a lot of people go, "Oh yeah, right, spiritual warfare." This is truly real spiritual warfare. We're going in to battle the negative energy that's there and
And
try to
that's
get it
our
to move
job.
on.
That's what we do. So
And the sad
Thanks,
thing is
Margaret.
we don't even know what that negative energy is.
No.
We
We-
still don't know.
Yeah, we had the entity that came through and said it was the maze, God of
Yeah.
maze, goddess of maze,
And
whatever.
it's confusing.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly what we're dealing with, but we're gonna go in there and find out what's going on. So tomorrow, anyway, we're doing the class at 6 p.m. For those who know, 6 p.m. at the depot, which is right next to the Stagecoach. We're going to be doing the Ghost Hunting 101 class, and then yes, in fact, we are actually going into the Stagecoach.
going back.
Yeah,
I mean, those of you that bought your tickets and you're going to be there tomorrow, we're just going to say warning. It's not.
Yeah,
Just come ready, come grounded, come protected.
and this really is, guys. Seriously, are we saying this? Enter at your own risk.
Honestly,
This is-
yeah.
This is a real situation. Please, guys, if you don't feel like you can handle this, come for the class and go home. If you go into the location, if you're brave enough to go into the location and you have an experience and you don't feel like you're able to continue, let us sage you, let us ground you, and send you home. Okay, this place is for real. This place is probably, I had it in my top 5 most haunted. I've moved it into my top 2 because
Honestly.
the places like this just don't come along every day. Okay.
That just scares the hell out of me. That just scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, Alan,
You know?
tell us how you really feel. Don't candy
Okay,
coat it for
I'll
us.
tell you how I really feel.
All right,
This
tell us
scares the hell out of
exactly.
me.
It scares the hell out of
You
me.
know, I for what, since 2012, I've been begging somebody to come and
Yeah.
take a look at this
Are you
place.
sure about that?
And now I feel like I've just shot myself in the head.
Yeah.
What the hell? What's going on?
I've racked my brain since we got back to figure out how you would reapproach this differently.
Yeah.
Than you did like for tomorrow night. Is it smaller groups going into sections maybe and work
Right.
some different spots, something?
Maybe that might be a good idea.
Yeah,
Might
I'm gonna have a
have to
few suggestions on how
We
can
might have to. I think
handle
before
this.
we actually do it, we might have to.
I think it's
Yeah.
too much for any one individual to go all the way through. I think you should do it in pieces, maybe.
Maybe somebody
like
staying with-
somebody does the first part of it, and then somebody does like the men's room and the courtroom,
Well, that's
and
what we're
somebody
on
else
here.
does upstairs. Because for one individual to walk all the way through there, like I was just literally drained
Yeah.
by the time I got into the classroom area. And of course, me and Chris talked about this. We had a little altercation. It wasn't bad, but one of the participants felt as if my analogy of the Oddfellows was incorrect. And it didn't get really heated, but you could tell that she was upset because the Oddfellows to her were just wonderful people, and and it's true, they did a lot of good things to communities, but they also had this kind of dark side, and it was from that moment that anxiety, that anger began to grow with me, and it just like from that point on, it was like dominoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm thinking that tomorrow, I'm going to let my other investigators pick up where I let off at, and continue on the tour, because it's just too much.
But I do
And
think
the more you talk about it, the more intense it gets.
it's true. But I definitely agree with Jim, and I think that, and with what you're saying, and we even talked about it, Chris, about we have to do a different approach.
Yeah.
I think.
Like divide and conquer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And then you need to tell people this is for real. You need to bring, enter at your own risk, or bring your own emergency medical technician.
It's true.
A
It's
nurse,
absolutely
That's
true.
not
licensed
funny.
practitioner.
That's not funny. That's
Yeah,
true.
you
It's
need,
the
you
truth.
need
It's the
something.
It's the truth, and also, I mean, it's nothing to walk in there just nonchalant and just be like, oh yeah, let's do this. This is no big deal, because it's.
That's
Really,
part
you
of
need
if I
first
shut it down
aid
tonight.
standing by
Yeah.
on your investigations, Chris. I mean, that's
We're gonna have to after
that
this.
says something. Yeah. Now we lucked out because we brought a cooler with, because we're chocoholics.
Thank
here.
you. And
we
you
have
know
to get our
what?
chocolate
When-
fix on every production.
Actually, when I don't know what happened to
Yeah.
the little ice pack that you gave
But we
me.
brought ice packs for that, so we offered them to Chris's mom, to Mama Moon, and to Dee.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
They put those on their burns and their scratches, and so that helped a little bit. Yeah. You
So
need your
I
own
see that
EMT.
David's in there, and if he's still listening, yeah, I got
First
scratched
aid.
again, Dave.
Yeah, it happened. It happened. Guys, we're going to lose the battery, but just really quickly, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight and kind of sitting in on our post meeting on what we're doing here. I said this on the last live, and I meant it. Please send prayers, please send love. We do need it in this situation. We can really use the help, okay? So, yeah, love you guys. Thanks again. Everybody say bye.
Watch episode 5 again.
Yeah, watch it again, guys.
again,
And
and
if
then
you are
stay
going to come
tuned.
out tomorrow, definitely ground yourself, be protected, bring protection, say your prayers. Whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, do it, because it's not a joke.
It's not a joke, guys.
Smile, and remember to make someone else smile too. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.